Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend DG Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. In a world of capes and lunatics, gods and monsters, there are threats too great. Threats beyond the reach of one hero alone. In those times, heroes will come together, and they shall be the Avengers. And this is Avengers Declassified. I'm your host, Charlie the Professor Esser. And with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber from the Burger Pits,
Phil, podcast Perich.
Welcome, Philly. So glad you're here. Oh, so tonight's episode, Secret Wars, issues 4 through 6. Secret Wars.
We're going to be halfway. Once we're done tonight, we're going to be halfway already.
Halfway, yeah. Well, it's a very cool series. We get to, although I'm going to tell you, one of the weirdest things about this series is this story has been retold a couple of times, both in Deadpool Secret Wars, but then there was also another Secret Wars sort of revisited, which was like all these things that happened in between issues. And it's weird because like there's stuff in that I remember, but I thought it was actually in this original book. And we'll get to that when we talk.
You know what? I haven't even reread it in a while, but there's also an issue of What If, like the second series, like towards the end, where I think it was basically like, oh, what if they never went home?
Oh yeah, I know. That's the one where Storm gets Thor's hammer, and yep.
And some people start pairing up and having kids. Yeah.
Yeah, as you do. Okay. But Philip, can you give us the synopsis of issue?
All right.
Number 4.
All right, number 4.
This is the classic Hulk holds the mountain.
That's right. So Secret Wars number 4 from August 1984. Situation hopeless.
It does look that way.
Yes. Writer Jim Shooter, of course.
Best writer.
Penciler Bob Layton, inker John Beatty, colorist Christy Sheely, letterer Joe Rosen, and editor Tom DeFalco.
Good old Tom.
That's right.
I can't go wrong with Tom DeFalco. That's what I always say. Oh, what happens this week?
The forces of Dr. Doom have forced the gathered heroes to flee and then destroy their headquarters, a victory for Doom and his minions in Beyonder's ongoing secret war. Spotting their foes fleeing the scene, Titania and the Wrecking Crew begin tossing debris at the heroes. Goaded on by Volcana, the Molecule Man one-ups them all by using his powers to raise a mountain from nearby and dropping it on their enemies, seemingly killing them all in one fell swoop. While the others cheer, Dr. Doom is not entirely convinced that this was the end of their foes. Elsewhere on Battleworld, Thor and the Enchantress are still having their private council about the Beyonder. Recalling the Beyonder's offer to grant them their fondest desires if they slay their enemies. Thor asks what the Enchantress would want. When she specifies Thor's love, he tells her that love is not an object that can just be taken. Love got to do with it.
It's true, man. That's true.
Their discussion is suddenly interrupted by a massive earthquake. Well, mountain dropping. They quickly teleport back to the hero's base to see what is going on and appear in the middle of Dr. Doom's army. When Doom demands the Enchantress choose a side, she hesitantly sides with Doom and the others attack Thor. While the villains keep Thor on the ropes, Doom commands Ultron to use his disintegrator ray to destroy Thor. Ultron seemingly succeeds in atomizing Thor, leaving nothing but his helmet and a scrap of his cape behind. After this second seeming victory, Doom recounts that the X-Men were not among the heroes and that their work is not yet done. However, he pauses to deal with some more pressing business first. Recalling how Kang tried to kill him when they first arrived on Battleworld, Doctor Doom orders Ultron to kill Kang. The time traveler tries to beg for his life, but it is to no avail as Ultron slays him. Elsewhere, the X-Men are flying across Battleworld seeking out Magneto. En route, Colossus takes the time to think about his girlfriend back home, the youthful X-Man known as Sprite, and wonders if he will ever see her again. Rogue is also deep in thought, thinking of how not too long ago she would have been on Doom's side of the Secret War. As the X-Men prepare for whatever their encounter with Magneto will bring, the Master of Magnetism using his powers to create a mental comb for his guest the Wasp to comb her hair with. Suddenly, the pair are interrupted by the arrival of the X-Men. Xavier asks Magneto to join him, telling him of the good they can do if they operate as a third force outside of Captain America's group. Magneto agrees, suggesting that they use the Beyonder's offer to create a golden age where mutants rule over humans. Hearing this, the Wasp drops her pretense and being
Hey, it's House of M.
Exactly, yeah. But the Wasp drops her pretense on was she faking this whole time? In being interested in Magneto and attacks. She then manages to slip past the X-Men and get to their ship, but finds it incredibly difficult to control. When Magneto tries to stop her from escaping with his powers, Xavier stops him, recounting how he made a grave error erasing Spider-Man's memories earlier, and that they should not interfere with the others, that using evil means does not justify the good intentions. Meanwhile, buried under tons of rock are the heroes who have survived thanks to the Hulk holding up the rock with his strength. However, with a number of them injured and a limited supply of air, time is running out before they either suffocate or get crushed to death. Quickly thinking, Mr. Fantastic cannibalizes some of Hawkeye's trick arrows, Iron Man's spare parts, or spare power pack, and one of Spider-Man's web shooters into a device that allows the Human Torch and Captain Marvel to channel their powers through Iron Man's armor. The device works and boosts Iron Man's armor significantly to blast their way free from the mountain. Upon getting free, the heroes find four alive and well, and he explains he escaped a certain death by temporarily blinding their foes and making a hasty retreat. Needing medical attention for some of their allies, Captain America sends Captain Marvel off on a recon mission to find some place for them to go. Marvel finds a village at the base of the mountain where Galactus is standing. Soon the other heroes arrive, and the locals prove friendly and immediately take in the wounded champions. They quickly discover that one of these aliens, Xanshi, can heal with a touch. When she heals the Human Torch, he is instantly attracted to her. Later, Ben Grimm... What? You have something for Johnny?
Well, it's just, yeah, even Rhodey calls him out. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I guess he's single at this point,
Yeah.
Later, Ben Grimm goes to Reed to express his concerns about being so close to Galactus when suddenly he transforms into the Thing again. When Ben asks why this is happening, Reed hesitantly tells him that he'll think about it. However, he knows more than he is letting on.
Oh, yes.
Reed then turns his attention to Galactus and is horrified when he sees the World Devourer raising his hands to the sky.
Yes. Dun, dun, dun.
It's a lot to unpack here. Okay.
There's a lot, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of a lot.
Okay, was it this issue or one of the next ones where she's just, or Xanshi or whatever, she's like, Johnny's like, oh, you want me to sniff this? Okay, I'll sniff this. I'm like, really?
Yeah, that's next issue. Issue. This issue, that's just them meeting, and she's talking in her weird alien language that nobody understands, which is weird because they usually can talk to people, but whatever. We'll work with it. It's better if nobody speaks the language, Mm-hmm. The Beyonder does not will it. I do. I mean, this is an iconic one for the Hulk.
Oh yeah, Hulk in the Mountain. Yeah,
the Hulk in the Mountain is, and this is one you have to revisit, and they have revisited it a few times. And it's funny to me because in one of the versions of this, She-Hulk is not unconscious, and she tries to hold the mountain for a moment, and she can't. Because, and then the Hulk says, even she's the strongest of all of you, and still nothing compared to what I can do.
And in Deadpool's Secret Wars, he sees himself as the big hero because he keeps Hulk mad. He keeps talking to the Hulk and making him mad, so he gets stronger,
Yeah. Well, that's because that's what Deadpool does,
Picking them
man.
off. Which
Yeah.
which which I mean, Reed Richards kind of sort of did here.
Hmm. He's thinking, man, because at the end of the day, it's just that reality of it that I love just Reed Richards. Like, oh, okay, well, hey, Iron Man, let me take a look at that armor real quick, and Hawkeye, get any arrows you have that have like transistors in it, and yeah, Spidey, give me your web shooters. The box of scraps just blows their way out, and that's what Reed Richards does. Because it's like, at the end of the day, man, I don't have time to humor you, Banner. It's, yes, I know you're a very smart person, Banner. I wouldn't doubt that for a minute, but,
Well, like I always say, the rest of them, I always see it's like everyone has their specialty. Like Tony Stark's technology, Banner's like got radiation, specifically gamma rays and stuff. Everyone has their own specific specialty. Reed Richards is like a jack of all trades. That's why he's
yeah. And he's also better at all of them than, except for one thing. There's only one thing that he acknowledges: he is not the best. That is radiation, because there can be only one, Dr.
oh
Odegaard.
god, yes.
We all know it. It is true. Yeah, I mean, this is neat. We start to see the first blossoming flutters of attraction between Volcana and Owen, which I like. That's a very sweet aspect of this, and what I really like about this issue is just that idea of how powerful Owen Reese is. And that's going to kind of become sort of this theme throughout the rest of it.
Mhm.
Is like, when he says he's the most powerful being in the universe, he's not lying.
No.
He's not lying. Just because you see him as this little milksop, that doesn't make him one. It's like he could very easily turn you all inside out. And that
I
is
mean,
that
I
is
mean,
and
I mean, not even just for for another ally with powers, but do you think
Mhm.
maybe did Doom see this coming? Did Doom maybe create like or maybe he created Volcana and Titania? Give him the upgrades and stuff. Just be like, he's probably going to go for one of these women. It's probably going to boost his ego. Because when he first gets here, it's like, I don't know if I want to do this. Is this Doom's way of maybe getting him more on his
Oh,
side and just
yeah. I mean, what I will say is, it really strikes me that these two women were selected because they were kids who were bullied,
hmm
that he felt he could turn, give superpowers and have them be evil. And it's interesting because we really kind of see them. We see Volcana in this much more of the aggressor in all of this, and it is interesting because you think about how these characters evolved as their stories went on. But that's also one of the things I think is really interesting about this, because from what we learn later, like the Beyonder kind of wanted everyone to be like they were in the memories he saw, which is why Charles Xavier, he's a bit more brash, he's a bit more, and like I feel like the Beyonder is changing everyone just a little bit, making them be more like the toys that you could buy at your local store, and
hmm
that's why the Hulk is getting dumber, because everybody has these memories of big dumb Hulk.
Although too, Shooter is doing like playing on themes that are going on the books because I mean,
Mhm.
the Hulk is starting to lose his intelligence and stuff.
Okay.
Which
Uh,
eventually by Hulk 300 will like was it 299 300 we'll see it, yeah, and like nightmares messing with him, so
oh, okay. So then maybe I just
that's
misread
what
that.
that's when he goes completely beast, and that's when Doctor Strange banishes him and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is all leading to for the Hulk. Yeah,
Okay. Well, anyway, still it was fun.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I, and hey, if nothing else, you might be right that, because he knows that the Hulk has to stay mad because he needs just a little more time.
Yeah.
And yes, just check it. um, and yeah, I mean that I think that's that's the real interesting thing of this issue. They get out from underneath the mountain and they meet the tribe of aliens. What's interesting is we still haven't gotten to Denver, Colorado, or is it Denver or Dinosaur? I always forget.
I think it's it's either Denver or like a suburb of Denver. Yeah, but I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure it's Denver or close to Denver. Yeah.
yeah, and it's also weird that like nobody has figured out that there's like parts of Earth here yet. So that's interesting. Anyway, I want to move on to issue
5.
5.
Yes. All right. Here's my link. All right. All right. Yeah, Secret Wars number 5 from where's my cover date? September 1984 in the Battle of Four Armies.
Oh my!
Here we go. Mr. Fantastic's worst fears have been realized. Trapped on Battleworld by the Beyonder, Galactus has summoned his world ship so that he can consume this patchwork world and sate his hunger. Although this is an awesome sight, the assembled heroes try to figure out what to do next. The healer named Xanshi is in a panic, so the Human Torch tries to calm her down. However, there is a language barrier between the two of them. In order to break past them, Xanshi takes Johnny. Yeah, here we go. Johnny takes her to her home, where she opens a bottle containing a strange gas that allows them to meld minds, so Johnny can tell her what's going on. He recounts how they are gathered by the Beyonder to battle to the death, blah, 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 and attain their heart's desire, leading to a clash with supervillains being led by Doctor Doom. This resulted in the injuries the heroes sustained before seeking Xanshi's help. Elsewhere, the X-Man known as Colossus tries to sleep, but cannot help but think about his girlfriend, Kitty Pryde, whom he left at home. His thoughts about her are quickly cut off by the telepathic summons of Professor X. Colossus joins the rest of the X-Men in meeting with Xavier and Magneto. With the threat of Galactus becoming apparent, Magneto orders the X-Men to attack him in order to distract the World Devourer long enough for Magneto and Xavier to take a more subtle attack. When Wolverine balks at taking orders from Magneto, Professor X tells his team to follow Magneto's orders. Meanwhile, the Molecule Man and Volcana are bonding and growing closer together. As they walk as they walk past the Wrecking Crew and the Absorbing Man, Pal Driver decides to pick on the Molecule Man. When none of his friends back him up in bullying the Molecule Man, Pal Driver learns why, that it is not a good idea to make him angry. Owen Reese channels his powers to change Pal Driver's costume into an ultra hard metal, causing him to fall over. Adding insult to injury, Pal Driver has his face pushed into the mud by Volcana, and they leave him to be ripped out of his costume by the others. As the others just begin to notice Galactus's world ship hovering over Battleworld. Doctor Doom has long since been aware of its arrival and is busy working on a plan to use this to his advantage. His work is interrupted by the Enchantress, who tries to seduce Doom by offering to repair the damage done to his face. Doom resists her offer and tells her to be gone. Frustrated by being rejected by a mere mortal, the Enchantress teleports away. As Magneto and Xavier channel their powers together to try and establish telepathic contact with Galactus, the heroes gather at the base uh, of his mountain, decide what to do next. Mr. Fantastic figures he can try to reach out to Galactus as he has recently saved the World Devourer's life. However, neither ploy works, and Galactus rebuffs telepathic contact and causes a section of Magneto's base to explode while also blasting Reed aside. Seeing the heroes as pests, Galactus unleashes a robot to keep them busy while he begins forming the device he needs to consume Battleworld. Although the heroes manage to destroy the robot set upon them, they are suddenly attacked by Doctor Doom's villains. While the battle rages, Doom watches from a distance. When it appears that his minions are going to succeed, the heroes are saved thanks to the timely intervention of the X-Men. The sheer force of the battle is enough to temporarily distract Galactus from his work, and while the World Devourer's head is turned, Doctor Doom quickly pilots his ship to the world ship of Galactus. Doom's minions are forced to flee, but not before seriously wounding Colossus. When the battle is over, the X-Men pull back, but are forced to leave their comrade behind. Although Wolverine protests this, Xavier points out that Colossus's injuries were serious enough that to move him would have killed him, and that the heroes have a healer on their side who can save his life. In the aftermath of the battle, the heroes find Colossus and see that he needs medical attention. When they get Xanshi to heal him, Colossus is taken by how beautiful she is and grows instantly jealous that she happens to be interested in the Human Torch. Colossus then pretends to be in even more pain in order to get more of her healing touch. Meanwhile, as Mr. Fantastic and Captain America fear the worst about Galactus, they are unaware that Doctor Doom has gained access to his ship. From within, Doom hopes to find the tools he needs to defeat both Galactus and then the Beyonder. Suddenly, his attention is drawn towards something of great interest on one of the walls of the ship.
Dun dun dun. So yeah, I mean, this is your classic action-packed adventure, and to be fair, things were kind of never fair once Galactus is on it, because literally all Beyonder is saying is, "Hey, why don't you eat everyone, and then I can do whatever the heck you want." And
I mean, I know it's a story and I know it's hard to convince everyone, but shouldn't everyone's first agenda been like, oh, hey, how about everyone here teams up? Villains, everyone, X-Men, everyone team up. And first thing, let's take out Galactus first. Then we can fight amongst ourselves if we have to. But
I guess, well, they would have had the Molecule Man on their side.
yes.
So that would have been the only thing that would have actually
and you'd have Doom and Reed, yeah.
Yeah, okay. The only reason why Reed ever defeated Galactus was because the Watcher helped and got him the ultimate nullifier.
I was gonna say, Johnny, go get the ultimate nullifier keg.
Yeah. But but that's the thing. It's like I don't know that Johnny would be able to find it again, even if he wanted to.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, Galactus is hiding that this time.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like I don't even know if all of the heroes and the villains together, united against Galactus, would have worked, unless you're going to have it be the Molecule Man. But at this point, his powers can't affect organic things because it's like he could have really messed up Pile Driver, but he chose not to.
But I do like when Enchantress offers to fix Doom's face. He's like, no, I know the price you got to pay for magic like that. He's like, no.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, he is interesting in and of himself. And I don't even know why Enchantress is trying to seduce him.
Well, they kind of played her even with the Thor stuff, where she's like she's like, I don't want to die. It's even worse for an immortal. I don't want to die.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can imagine that. It's a rough go for the poor gal. She's trying to do her best in this world, and nobody wants to have sex with her.
Oh.
I feel you, Enchantress. Well, that's the thing. Really, she should be trying to seduce the Molecule Man. See that? That might have worked. See that? But now he's already paired off with Volcana.
Well, I just wonder if she, maybe she didn't know his power level. She probably don't know. She doesn't know who the Molecule Man is, so she knows Thor, and I guess she knows Doom.
Yeah, she should read up more. That's the thing. She should be reading the Secret Wars. They tell you all that stuff. Yeah, but it is very interesting. The whole Colossus being jealous of Johnny's fake relationship with the girl. It's because I don't know. There's a part of me that kind of feels like she's really not that into anyone. I kind of believe I like the Deadpool Secret Wars story so much better because it's Deadpool and it has pathos. Yeah. And Johnny just comes off as a tool. Johnny is at his most toolish. But I do love my Rhodey Iron Man, so that's good for all of us, I love Rhodey as Iron Man. I am really hoping we are going to be seeing him in the actual Iron Man armor.
Yeah.
That he's going to take on that image of Iron Man.
The only reason I don't know if they would do that is because we are getting Riri Williams as Ironheart. So I don't know I mean,
Yeah.
I guess they could both be in this similar looking armor, but I just wonder if they're just, it's just going to go straight to, Riri Williams.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get Armor Wars. We're gonna see something, but I get the feeling he's probably got access to all of Tony's, extra extra bots.
Yeah, between him and
So
Happy, yeah, and
yeah.
Pepper, yeah.
hmm Yeah. So that'll be interesting. And you want to go on to issue 6?
Yes, sir. All right, so last one of these for tonight, Secret Wars number 6 from October 1984, A Little Death.
In French, that means orgasm.
I know. See, shooter.
Oh, shooter, you're trying to sneak it past the code.
That shooter. After trying to escape the X-Men, the Wasp finds herself trying to get her escape ship under control. Unable to figure out the strange controls, the Wasp ends up crashing the ship. Unsure of where to go, she finds a holographic projector that shows her a nearby dome, and she decides to shrink down the Wasp's eyes and try to locate it. On her way out, she turns and uses one of her bio stings to destroy the ship. Flying into a nearby swamp, she fights off some aggressive insects and finds the dome that the ship showed her earlier. Returning to human size, the Wasp tries to figure out what to do next, and when she is suddenly attacked by the lizard, hanging out in the swamp. Meanwhile, aboard the world ship of Galactus, Doctor Doom uses a device there to draw a strange energy he detected within the walls of the ship. To his surprise, this energy reforms into Claw, the so-called Master of Sound.
Yay! Good old Claw. He's
We
back.
need more villains. Shooter demands more villains.
Yeah, well, yeah. We got more toys to make, Phil.
That's right.
You know that.
Much to Doom's dismay, Claw's mind has been affected by the ordeal, but Doom learns that Claw got trapped during a battle with Dazzler.
He will do that. Why, if you are a sound master, would you fight someone whose literal power is to convert sound into light?
Which they show in the flashback panel. She literally turns, absorbs him as energy and shoots at a Galactus. So.
Yeah.
Lucky Galactus didn't digest him, I guess.
Yeah, well, maybe he did, but he's a superhero human. He just passes through. No nutritious content. He's like fiber.
True. Claw, during a battle with Dazzler, the mutant used her powers to convert his sound form into light energy, and she then absorbed into her body. Later, when she was abducted by Galactus, she used that energy to try and attack him, but the energy did nothing, and Claw's form became trapped in the wall. Finding Claw of no use to him, Doom then continues to find something that will help him stop Galactus and then the Beyonder. Finding a control monitor, Doom views the events on Battleworld. He sees the gathered heroes regrouping after their battle with his minions, who have now fled back to Doom Base, while Galactus himself continues to prepare the device that will help him consume Battleworld. Doom quickly formulates a plan to spoil Galactus' plan and uses a teleporter to send Claw down to the planet to deliver a message to his minions. When Claw materializes in Doom Base, he recites a code word that convinces Ultron that he was sent by their mutual master, prompting the gathered villains to listen to what Claw has to say. Back in the swamp, the Wasp realizes that the lizard has attacked her out of fear due to the fact that he has been injured. Convincing the lizard that she means no harm, the Wasp manages to get close enough to him to treat his wound. While back at Magneto's base, the X-Men have returned to salvage what they can after it was blasted by Galactus. Feeling weak, Xavier decides to take a moment to rest. He then reaches out with his mind telepathically to see what the villains are up to. Before the Enchantress detects his presence and uses her magic to knock him out or block him out. Xavier learns how the villains are planning to cause a volcanic eruption on the other side of the planet and summons his X-Men to venture out and stop them. When he puts Cyclops in charge, this angers Storm as she is the leader of the X-Men. But when she confronts Charles with this, he warns her that if she refuses to follow his orders, he will not be against using his mental powers to force her to follow his bidding. Yeah, he's not a villain, huh? Storm
he's getting pretty dark, man.
I know. Storm concedes, but she still believes that he is leading the X-Men into defeat. While at the heroes' camp in the alien village, Colossus continues to recover from the injuries he incurred in the last battle. He finds himself torn between his feelings for his girlfriend Kitty Pryde back home and these new feelings he has for Xanshi, the alien healer who has saved his life. When she comes to heal him again, he tries to open up his feelings for her, but the language barrier prevents her from doing so. When she goes to depart, she's picked up by the Human Torch, who does some aerial tricks with her before kissing her and taking her away, making Colossus grow even more jealous.
Mm.
Elsewhere, Captain America is planning strategies with Mr. Fantastic, the Hulk, the Thing, and She-Hulk. When She-Hulk demands that they go looking for the Wasp, who is still missing, Cap assures her that Captain Marvel was searching for them. All this talk begins to get on the Hulk's nerves, who demands that they go out and smash their enemies. Not far away, Hawkeye is preparing some traditional arrows after the last of his trick arrows were used to boost Iron Man's armor. Iron Man, meanwhile, tries to hit on Captain Marvel, who is uninterested and confused, unaware that the man inside the armor is not the Iron Man she has previously known. For himself, James Rhodes wonders what has come over him and complains about his from his book, from his head hurting, which has been happening a
Yeah.
lot recently since he took over the mantle of Iron Man.
Yeah, dang. Stark's circuitry, it just doesn't
Well,
work.
that's what he thought it was. He thought it was the cybernetic circuitry, but it turns out it's like his own issues where, I don't know, on some subconscious level, he feels like he stole Tony Stark's armor, even though a drunk Tony Stark's like, here, you be Iron Man. I'm too drunk to do it, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of things. Is that a later retcon? Because I know that at a point it was that, that there was a flaw in the original armor that if you weren't Tony Stark. Well, actually, no, I even think that there was some thought that that's why Tony became an alcoholic, was because of this flaw in the armor, that the cybernetic interaction just wasn't working out right.
I don't know about Tony, but for the longest time, they're like, he's like, yeah. And then once it, I think Tony himself adjusts it, and then he still starts having headaches. And eventually, I believe it's an issue. Yeah. Rhodey meets Shaman of Alpha Flight, and it basically comes to terms with all of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. A little more. At that moment, the X-Men attack the villains at the volcano and attempt to foil their plans. During the ensuing battle, Wolverine manages to get close enough to the Molecule Man to slash him across the chest with his adamantium claws. Although Cyclops blasts Wolverine's arm to prevent him from striking a fatal blow. Although the villains retreat with their injured comrade, the X-Men were too late to stop them from their appointed task and are forced. No, they weren't too late. Cyclops is like, I guess you're trying to do this to mess with Galactus, so maybe we should, open up this volcano.
Yeah.
When the volcano begins to erupt. While back at the swamp, the Wasp finishes binding the Lizard's wounds when she is suddenly shot through the chest with a laser beam fired by a massive vehicle piloted by the wrecking crew. When the Lizard tries to attack them, they immobilize the creature with a stasis beam and take the two prisoner, even though they believe the Wasp is dead. Back at the heroes' camp, Thing appears even grimmer when they see that Galactus has almost completed his planet-devouring device. As they contemplate what to do next, they are unaware that a shadowy figure is observing their movements.
Dun dun dun.
Someone's first appearance next week, kid.
Yes, from the cast, a costume. Is that next issue or is that the issue after?
Well, there's two appearances. No, in 2 issues, we get the symbiote. Next issue, we get the first appearance of Julia Carpenter.
Okay, because I can never remember if, because he says, it must have influenced, seeing her must have influenced.
Yeah, because she shows up in 7, and then that suit pops out in 8. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. What the one thing I always come back to in this is, why were there not more Secret Wars playsets? Because they clearly designed like a dozen. It's the dome with the lizard. It's like you could see Jim Shooter's mind working this. Okay, we need like 6 bases, because we need a Magneto base that we can sell, and then a general hero base, and then when that gets blown up, we need another base, and it just seems like I think that Jim had some grand plans for this, and the toy market wasn't there for it yet.
Or unless you just throw out a ton of
they're great stories.
Unless it's just you throw out a ton of stuff and the toy company just picks what picks and chooses. But it was mostly figures. There weren't even that many vehicles or bases. Yeah.
I don't think there was. I don't even think there was a base. I mean, they might
Uh,
have. They might have had a Doom base. I don't know. It's like, but I'm disinclined to think that there was.
Wait a
I think there was
second.
supposed to be a Galactus figure, but I don't think they ever made it.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing one.
Yeah, I think that was like the rumor for like the big toy of the third set.
Oh,
Third
that might
series.
have been like one base. It's basically almost like
Yeah,
just like a tower.
it actually looks like it's made of cardboard too.
Could have been,
See, that's
could be.
that's the problem. These toy companies not investing in high quality toys. If you don't make high quality toys, people aren't going to want to play with your toys. It's just that simple. All right, you want to talk a couple of actual comics that came out this week?
Sure.
Okay. Well, let's talk. You want to talk Iron Man or Moon Knight
I mean, we could talk
or
both,
two
but
Avengers?
it doesn't matter. Here, let's talk
Well,
Iron Man,
okay, we can start with Iron Man. Um. So
which
yeah,
Lilith Hellfire gave a glowing praise to.
yeah. Well, it was very interesting because obviously it's um Tony and Rhodey because well you you know everyone's backstory, so you tell us about the book, Phil.
Well, yeah, I mean, they basically, yeah, because they're going over because their friend Vic Martinelli, has been killed. He used to be Stark's old head of security, and there was hard feelings there from a long time ago because when Obadiah Stane took over Stark, Vic stayed on, even after Tony got kicked, hostile
Yeah,
takeover. Yeah. Because most of his people, like, Rhodey, Miss Arbogast, all of them, like, left when Tony got, lost the company. But yeah, Vic stayed. So,
mm. Yeah. Well, that's gonna drive a wedge between you, man. When the supervillain takes over your company, you can't be like, oh, but what if I can't get another job? It's like, dude, you work for Tony Stark. He's gonna write you a recommendation. Um. Anyway, but
this guy always loses companies and then rebuilds a new one. So
yeah, really, I mean, well, that might have been like that was probably like the first time it
that's one of
happened.
the first ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're like, oh man, what do I do? Got a kid in college, maybe or something.
Yeah.
Like I got bills to pay. Yeah, yeah, and who is the? They speak with another scientist. I wasn't quite sure who that person was.
Clay Walker. Yes, he's Force. He would. Okay, he is one of the guys. Like he was around like the 80s. He had like a suit of armor. I'm trying to remember what if it's like Force Blast or Force Field or something. But he's one of those guys where like back in like the 80s, Justin Hammer would like finance a lot of guys for like a cut of their profits. Like he's like,
Mhm.
I'll foot the bill for your armor, but I get, whatever percent of your, whatever you steal.
Mhm.
He was one of those guys. And then like right before the first Armor Wars, he's like, no, I want out. So, you know, Tony and
Yeah,
Rhodey helped him get out and
get out.
basically he went into witness protection and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, and then enter Titanium Man.
Yep.
So here's the question, because this is what like it confuses me a bit in this,
Mm-hmm.
because we have this element 13, which was apparently
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, because they say it's the one that killed Captain Marvel. I mean, it didn't kill him right away. It knocked him out for a while, but then eventually it gave him That's what gave him cancer.
yeah. But like, what makes me wonder about this, given that reveal we get at the end?
Yeah.
Do you think Tony hired Boris to come in the Titanium Man armor
Oh,
to sort of just do a little rope a dope fight so that we could have that Chemical 13 released?
I don't know because it's like, didn't they say they found traces of his armor or something at the murder scene or something, or did Tony plant that at the murder scene?
I mean, that's the question. Maybe Tony actually murdered the
Oh, fake
guy.
no.
I mean, really, that's the thing. You never know with Tony Stark.
I mean, unless they stage that the fight later on. I don't know, but I just took it as oh hey, he's trying to gas me. Here's our opportunity to make it seem like I'm out of action.
Yeah, but I mean, because Titanium Man got gassed too, right?
Um, did he?
I thought that was the whole thing, was that
Oh,
someone was gassing Titanium Man. Actually, I kind of got the feeling that they both got gas.
well, no, I don't know if that was just smoke because Rhodey just like opened fire on him with like everything he had. So I don't know if he was just like smoke. The armor's just like smoking.
Okay, that would make sense. I read these things on a tiny cell phone screen sometimes, so
Yeah.
I miss the subtle details.
I mean, the smoke looks similar to the gas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but like right now, I'm thinking like this was all staged. Even just the oh no, not my one weakness that killed Captain Marvel. Wink, wink. Now I'm in a coma and stuff. So, but that also raises the question: like, whose body is that? Who's playing the? Is that just like a really, really, really good LMD?
either that or once Patsy and Cap visited, then Tony left the hospital. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, man. It's interesting.
Or unless he just like healed enough and he's like, yeah, let's keep that quiet. Because like I said, the Gaff knocked Captain Marvel out for a while, but eventually he recovered. I mean, well,
Yeah.
years later gets cancer, but
Yeah. Well, but see, like what I'm wondering is like, I kind of felt that the implication was that when that there's still a body in that bed. Whose body it is, we don't know. And Tony's now out here in the cell suit, and that could be exciting. And next issue in the cover, at least he's got the Mandarin armor, all 10 rings. They may have added rings to Shang-Chi, but we still have the originals, so we're gonna see how that works. Okay.
I mean, I kind of like that. It's like, oh hey, the Mandarin's dead, but yeah, those rings are still a threat.
Mm-hmm. Well, they are. I mean, really, Mandarin wasn't like gifted them. He stole
He just
them.
found them. Yeah.
Yeah, literally anyone can put the rings on and just go pew 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 pew. The amazing power of pew pew. And then Moon Knight was also a great little crossroads of the mind episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it is interesting, especially because Moon Knight's in the middle of a fight while this is all going on, right?
Yeah.
He's getting beat up by these two people.
Yeah, Mark, Jake, and Steve are are having a chat while Moon Knight's fighting.
Yeah, which is just like, oh, okay, man, okay.
I mean, I guess it doesn't exert that much concentration or brain power.
I don't know. Well, I mean, my thoughts in this is that this is obviously an artist's representation.
Oh yeah.
Of the complex psychological drama that's playing out within him at all times. And I do like this idea that the other two alters were like, man, we're not the ones that screwed you up all the time, man.
Yeah, no.
At most we just we were always there to help. We were always there to support. And you don't even want us out anymore. But you're the one that always screws up your own life, man. You're the one who feels he doesn't deserve love.
Yeah, and they're like, you hate yourself. Don't blame us.
Yeah, really. I mean, that is true. And apparently all of the strippers in Jake Lockley's fantasy club all look like Marlene.
Why? Hey, man. Hey, that tracks. Jed McKay doing his homework because, when they, when they have a kid with Marlene, I believe Jake was at the controls, shall we say, when that happens.
Well, I mean, and it seems like something Jake would do.
I mean, they're all attracted to her, but yeah.
Well, and I do like how they make the point that I like the fact that and it's interesting because there's a part of me that kind of feels like, oh well, is that like meant to sort of link back to the recent Moon Knight thing where it's like the Mark Spector character, he's like jealous of the other two. Like, oh, sure, everyone loves Jake Lockley or the the affable scoundrel and the
urban, sophisticated, charming, rich guy,
yeah, and it is sort of like, oh, okay, yeah. So it's like Moon Knight just really he's jealous of his other alters. Like, Mom always liked you best. It is interesting. Um, but apparently because he will not. Oh, by the way, I also like the little thing. I guess he's attracted to the vampire lady.
Well, I think more, more as like a friend, but he's like, yeah, he's like, I don't want to like, lose her, or push her away, or whatever. I guess.
Yeah. Um,
And well, at the beginning, he's like, I don't need you guys complicating my life. He's like, I have Black Panther watching me 24/7.
mhm. Yeah, really, Black Panther is not amused. But they do make the point, like, yeah, and this is all because you did this stuff, man. You went off the rails.
Age of Khonshu, that was you, my friend.
Yeah, it was all him. It was all Mark Spector, man. We weren't even involved. We didn't even get a cameo in those stories, man. Oh, but yeah, but as it turns, I mean, I think it's interesting that obviously because of this, and for it not taking that much mental energy, it apparently didn't help him because he got his butt royally kicked by the villains he was fighting. Um, Fortunately, Tigra and what's
Hunter's Moon.
Hunter's Moon shows up and save him, as it were. Which is good. Because I mean, obviously, if Moon Knight died, it wouldn't be a very good book anymore, now would it?
No, but yeah, no. At the end, Mark even says he's like, if we're gonna fix things, we're gonna have to do it together.
Well, that's what you got to do. I mean, that's the thing. That's the personality's got to do. Just like at the end of Moon Knight,
Exactly.
where Mark and what's his name? I'm blanking
Steven?
on Steven. Mark and Steven sort of figure out how to flow between themselves and to be both at the same time. So that was cool. Yeah, it was. These were two very good books, I felt, for the Avengers this week. We did not a lot of Avengers books out this week.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I guess you could count a Zero War. They do say Avengers Assemble in it very quickly, so that's always good. But there weren't a lot of Avengers books out, but I think what we lacked in quantity, we got in quality.
Oh yeah.
So Philip, if people like the Avengers, want to talk the Avengers or Secret Wars with us, how can they find us?
Well, if you want to send your thoughts on any of the current comics or even Secret Wars, email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-Capes. And you can get a hold of us on all our social media, Avengers Declassifieds on Facebook, on Twitter. The whole Capes and Lunatics as a whole is on Instagram. Find all our social media for all our shows, the YouTube channel. We also have a Patreon. Again, paying for this ourselves. Every little bit helps. But you get early access to creator interviews and, of course, superhero movie brackets, where we will find the worst superhero movie of all time by the end of the year. And also, Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks merchandise. And as Lil likes to point out, just straight up Cash App in the show notes if you just want to drop money on us. So yes, find everything at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics.
And of course, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, where our mothers and fathers once did, you can always do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet things like Stargirl, because it's coming back, at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEssescr. Look for the two E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing.
Thank you, Maz. And that has been another episode of Avengers Declassified. This podcast will self-destruct.
Kaboom.
Kaboom. Yeah, eventually, it's...
Galactus will eat this podcast.
Oh, that's a spicy podcast.
So yes, kids, big Secret Wars issues coming up next week.
The one that gave us Venom.
Yes, and a second Spider-Woman. Yes.
Oh yeah, the mutant one. Although that's not revealed yet.
Stay tuned.